Either glory or insanity awaits.
It's science, because we're writing things down.
Well, yeah.
Well, not yet.
Go ahead, man.
Oh, get the marker.
I don't think that's gonna hold.
If I get, I'm gonna get hit by
Yeah,
one of
dude.
these bars.
Be safe.
So just...
Be careful.
Hello there. Welcome to this special rendition of Cars and Cameras where we're starting to build, except this is episode 0 of a build right now. This is before we even really have decided what we're doing. We just have a concept in our heads, and we know that we want to build the world's smallest cross cart with a shifter engine. So we're basically looking at a go-kart type vehicle, about the size of our Silver Shadow yard cart, that laid down a scorching lap, by the way, with a shifter 5-speed 190cc engine with about 18-19 horsepower, something like that. And simple suspension would be nice, would be the goal. If not that, a Springer seat. So that's literally all we have so far. We have some wheels, tires, engine on the ground. And we're going to sit here and brainstorm about how we're going to accomplish things.
This is how all of our builds start.
Every single one.
Really, right here on this concrete floor, very uneven concrete floor, I gotta add.
Say it, Charles.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's uneven. The property we're gonna be riding on ain't even.
The ground's uneven out
The
there.
ground's not even, so it doesn't matter.
So, we were thinking putting the engine in behind us, but then, you know, why not put it in front of us?
This is cool.
And just kind of look at it. What I like about the engine being on front, other than the sprocket right there in my joy department, we add most of the weight to the front of the cart, which is going to help with steering a lot.
You want to block it up, get it to about this height or however high we want it.
I say we start building a frame. We hadn't figured out the front suspension yet, but I think we can put a straight axle in.
Just temporary purposes.
Just temporary for right now, and we can get busy with everything else. The rear suspension, I feel like we got it licked.
Mm-hmm. Got it licked. That's a
yeah, got it licked, and the frame. So I feel like we can just
ready to party.
Yeah, ready to party.
Sweet.
So of course, steering is going to be more like this.
I'm 40 feet away from you. Well, what is it, 20? 20 feet to be exact?
So I tried bending this all in one go, so I'd have one weld. Well, I got a little bit of a twist here, and I really think I got the bend off here. I think it's probably about 1/4 to 1/2 inch, or maybe 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch longer. So I'm just gonna bend things together, make things line up better, and then I'll decide if I got to do a little trim here. Okay, I found my plug to put in the pipe so I can put them together. Just sitting on the shelf like it was meant to be. So let's weld this thing up.
Looks good.
All I gotta do is finish welding around this. I just checked for a square using your brand new building.
Is it pretty square?
It wasn't at first, but it is now.
It is now.
Yeah.
That's
so
all we care about.
That's all we care about.
Last night, Ike bent up this frame, if you're okay with taking credit for it. I would if I were you. It looks good. So this is going to be the base of our frame for the go-kart, so we're going to lay it down on the ground and start building off of it, right?
That's right.
I'm so proud. It looks, it's everything I dreamed it would be. Is that the floor? Is that the tube? Who knows? It'll be fine.
Well, it was fine in there.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm gonna say floor.
I mean, I say once we finally get in there, these bigger custom builds, I think it would be nice to get a real table and get off our knees and stuff like that.
Right.
So we read your comments. We're just slow.
So this is just an idea on the front suspension. But we can have, you know, the pivot point up here. We can have this with this. I mean, well, not rebar.
Oh, not rebar?
Not rebar.
So it's not that Cars and Cameras approved. Huh?
Not that Cars and Cameras approved. But we can have two pipes. One welded here, one welded here, coming to a point at the end with a heim joint right there. So it'd be a very simple
independent front suspension.
independent front suspension.
Basically a single control arm.
Yes.
Ike is going to focus on the rear suspension, and I'm going to build two pieces that go right underneath the frame. That's going to act as both a frame support and the base of an engine mount. Because we can mount the engine right to the 4 bolt holes underneath that pit bike pegs usually mount to. And that'll simplify how the engine's mounted.
Either glory or insanity awaits. So today's letter is C. Can you say Cars and Cameras? I know you can.
I have our two longitudinal pieces cut and fish mouthed. So I need to make them line up with those holes, or make sure they're offset from those holes in the bottom of the engine. So I marked center in the chassis. And I'm going to space them to where I think they need to be. And then I'll go in and tack these in place and make sure they're going to work. Ooh, that's tight. Might need to trim that a little bit more. This floor is horrible. Horrible.
Whatever. Yep. But now I'm thinking I'm gonna weld an arm coming off of that, coming further forward, and then that whole thing's gonna kind of pivot like that. Pretty heavy tack, but it ain't going nowhere. Oh my, it's almost like it was meant to be. Alright, so I'm going to remove the engine, cut those spot welds, and widen the center bars for clearance for the sprockets. Alright, so jack shaft, swing arms coming off to the rear axle. Seat is going to be somewhere around here. Somewhere around here. Let's just try sitting in it. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's pretty roomy. I got enough room for my feet right here. Not too close to the engine, so the heat might not bother my legs. This is starting to look more and more promising. A lot more work. We still don't know what we're going to do with the front. I've got the rear end figured out pretty good. We've got this platform that goes back here. We're going to have some control arms going to this jack shaft to here, and then the rear end is going to be mounted to this, and this is how the rear end is going to work. Alright, so the idea is these bearings are going to fit right here, and then the control arms are going to go to the rear pieces.
This looks cool.
Well, I mean, I didn't do a thing to it while you were gone. I've just been sitting around.
I see a couple tack welds, man. That's something.
Oh no, that's I blew my nose.
Nice.
So
looks sweet. I like the cinder block method.
oh, thank you. I mean, it's going to be on this uneven floor. It might as well be uneven elevated.
Yeah. Charles is back. Ike had to leave us, and we are going to try to get the rear suspension set up, or at least the trailing arm set up, on this tiny cross cart before the end of the day today. So Charles is going to work on the trailing arms. I'm going to program some parts for our Crossfire Pro to mount our jack shaft. We're going to keep this ball rolling. Our jack shaft hangers are cut out. We decided to brace them up by adding a second layer, a piece of angle iron down there, so we can weld on top, we can weld there, and we can weld on the bottom. Because this is very thin steel, I think we're going to be better having more welds kind of throughout rather than just small little welds.
You need it strong because John's a gear jammer.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
We gotta get you a Peterbilt so you can have 18 speed, high and low.
So Charles also prepped the trailing arms, so once we square this up, we can tack our trailing arms in, tack our jack shaft hangers in, and we should be able to go up and down with the rear axle.
Yeah, something along the lines of like that.
Sweet.
You can hear the certification. So fun begins.
We're building an X brace for our trailing arms, so we don't have articulation. It's going to be lighter, simpler, basic,
Yeah,
but it has its upsides.
and it looks cool. We've never crossed fish mouth, so this is we're gonna learn together. All right, cover.
Yep.
Oh God. I think that ought to do it.
Cool. Ready for a stress test?
Yes.
Our trailing arms and X brace have good strong tacks on them, and it's almost time for a stress test. We have to thank our sponsor for today's episode, GoPowersports.com. Pretty much everything we've used so far has been from Go Power Sports. Their live axle kits, including their live axle hangers. We're using wheels and tires from them. These are off of our Dingo, and I love them. They're really grippy. They're decently lightweight for what they are as well. So if you want to check out these parts, the live axles that we're using are actually off of our drag rail. They're like 4 years old, and they're still good as new, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
We had to sand them a little bit, clean them up, but in terms of straightness, they are perfect still. So if you want to check out any of these parts, they're high quality, last you a good long time. Check them out at links in the description of this video, and anytime you place an order with Go Power Sports, let them know that Cars and Cameras sent you at checkout. You ready to do a, I'll set this up and we can see if we can get it to articulate, which we do not want.
Yeah, we don't, and you may have to stand on the chat, like the frame.
Yeah,
right there.
that's what I'll do. I'll stand right here. Whew. Go ahead and lift, buddy.
Oh, wow, that's...
Okay,
look.
maybe we need to tighten those first.
That is true. But look at this, ready?
Okay.
Oh, that's free floating weight, and it's not like,
Yep.
so.
It's going to have more than that on it, but, you know, more
Abs-
forces on it.
Absolutely.
But, so let's tighten those down, and we'll try it again. Put
Cool.
some real weight on it.
So there is some articulation, a little bit, but I'm wondering where it's flexing. It is good. It is good, but that is a little bit of articulation.
It's not what we want. I mean, that is just tacked, so
Yeah.
we can always weld it the rest of the way, and then...
And honestly, I'm not too disappointed. If we had to do shocks and a pan hard bar, that would stiffen it up even more, but we still have some more cross bracing to do if we need to.
Yeah.
And, you know, honestly, having our two trailing arms parallel with each other and nothing zigzagging in between, which we're going to fix that. We're going to put some logos down it and tighten
Brace
them
it
up,
up.
bracing up, because those two, they might be wiggling a little bit.
Mhm.
They're, you know, we're working with a bubble here.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's just a little bit of articulation, so it's probably going to be either in one spot or dispersed over the whole thing. So if we just strengthen it up, should be good to go.
Next up on our mini cross cart is to suspend the rear suspension using these red shocks from Go Power Sports. They're the beefiest ones that they sell. And we haven't found a good way of mocking up suspension. So far, it's been just like welding really janky stuff in place just to get our top pivot point and our bottom pivot points in place so we can test to see if we like the spring rate and the travel. So that's what we're doing.
This is just gonna prove a point on how strong tacks are. Like how much can you get away with just a tack? At the same time, we're testing spring rate. It's science because we're writing things down.
Well, yeah.
Well, not yet.
Go ahead, man.
Oh, get the marker out. It'll be very interesting to see how much force these tacks will hold.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think this is going to hold, but you know what? We're going to try it. This is for testing purposes.
It actually looks kind of cool.
Yeah, it does look pretty
So
neat.
I guess we'll get the center blocks out the back.
Yep.
Because it should support itself.
Exactly. All right. That's under its own weight.
Strong John. Alright, hard hat time.
I don't think that's going to hold.
If I'm going to get hit by
Yeah,
one of
dude.
these bars.
Be safe.
So just-
Be careful. Ooh. It is compressing a little bit. I believe it is way too stiff.
Yeah.
And also the entire frame isn't braced up enough, so you got flex in the entire frame.
I got flex in the middle.
Yeah. Here,
Oh, no.
bounce a little more. Yeah.
All right, so fast forward to the future, and our cart looks much more complete than just a rickety chassis on some cinder blocks. Spoiler alert. Anyway, all this to say, just trust the process. I didn't realize how sketchy it looked until I was previewing the video this morning. So anyway, this is what you have to look forward to in the next episode of our 190 mini cross cart build. Yeah, don't forget, next weekend is the Go Power Sports 180 mini bike race. It's a 3-hour mini bike race. Myself, Ike, and Charles are going to be there, as well as, I believe, Redbeard's Garage is going to be there, Build, Break, Repeat, maybe some other YouTubers. Anyway, you can find more information at a link in the description. It's going to be a really, really fun mini bike race. Everybody's invited. You just have to buy a ticket for yourself. Mini Mayhem also happened last weekend, so you have that episode to look forward to very, very soon. It was a ton of fun. There was action-packed as well, so it's going to make for a great episode. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. This is also Charles's very first build from scratch that he's been a part of, and I think he's been doing very well so far, considering it's his first time doing stuff like this. I think it looks really killer as well, and it should end up being only about 50 to 60 pounds heavier than a yard cart. So we have 18 horsepower here, a 5-speed transmission, which is over double the output of what our benchmark yard cart has, and this has suspension. So I think that's a very worthwhile trade-off. Anyway, I can't wait to ride this thing around. Thanks for watching. You will catch it here on Cars and Cameras. Leave a thumbs up. Support the channel by buying some merchandise at cars-cameras.com. We'll catch you next time.
Charles is all jacked up on Mountain Dew this morning.
Soon to be pumpkin spice. No, I hope not. Oh, I never said that. Don't. No, I hate pumpkin spice.
So,
This, let's see, we've got the jack shaft hangers mocked up. We're about to tack them in, but first we need to, square it up, make sure, because we don't want it to crab walk. That would be terrible.
that would be terrible.